I hope you guys are doing amazing. Before I dive in, just a little heads up, if you've never seen me before or come across my content before, I don't normally talk about politics or news updates or anything like that. So this is a very atypical video for me. But in the spirit of today, it felt very necessary and it felt good to do so. So here I am, I'm doing it. I will say it's been a really long day. So if I gotta stop and take a minute to really recollect my words, just bear with me, okay? First of all, today's January 30th, and I just want to thank everybody who participated and showed up in today's protests across the country. There's so many cities that have showed up. There's so many people that have showed up, and it's just amazing to see. And I just want to give you my personal thanks and gratitude for exercising your freedom of speech to do so, especially considering not everyone can do that. Not everyone can show up in the ways that we see people showing up. So you are also showing up for those who want to but can't, you know? So I just appreciate that. Now, there's been a lot of coverage about it, which I think has been amazing. It's been very needed, and it's great. Again, it's amazing. There are some things that have also been going on too in the last couple days that I just want to keep in the spotlight, I guess, or to kind of put in the center of the table for people who are journalists, for people who that is your thing. You talk about politics, you talk about raising awareness of certain things, or you are into activism and what have you. Like people who are really dedicated. Oh shit, excuse me. Like people who are really dedicated to raising awareness of these things and to being a very active participatory force in these things. This is why I'm talking about this. Voter rolls. Excuse my throat. The reason I'm bringing up voter rolls. So many are aware, some are not. But a while ago, the Trump administration had asked all 50 states to relinquish their voter rolls, which includes very sensitive information for everyone who's registered to vote. Okay? That's like social security number, your date of birth, things like that, things that, should stay private. And privacy is the main issue that a lot of these states said no to doing so. There are some states that have relinquished the voter rolls. All right. Now, there is also suspicion on behalf of these states that have said no. They're being actively sued right now by the Trump administration, by the way. Craziness. The suspicion is one, compromising of privacy for obvious reasons. Also concerns and worries about compromising the chain of ballot information and ballot counting, right? For actual elections and midterms and things of that nature. But also suspicion of a database being created to actually restrict the impact of voting. That's a major deal, right? Now, the states, as of January 11th, that have already given the voter rolls your personal information: Alaska, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kansas, Wyoming, Nebraska, South Dakota, and Indiana. And now the states that have refused and are being actively sued right now: Illinois, Wisconsin, Maryland, pretty much all of the northeastern states, Michigan, Minnesota, Hawaii, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Oregon, Washington, and Georgia. I'm saying Georgia for last because the last couple of days, the FBI raided Georgia's election offices for voter information. Just going to let that land for a second there, okay? Specifically for Georgia, they were specifically looking for 2020 election information. Specifically. Interesting, I know. And I just think that this is worth talking more about and being more and being incorporated more into activism of putting in or suggesting ways we can protect that chain of information for when the midterms come around and when we can exercise our voting rights in a way where we can keep that safe, we can keep that sacred, we can keep that protected, right? So, you can speak about this to your local officials and what have you. I'm just bringing it to the center of the table so that it doesn't get sidelined. So it's still in the light for some people in some people's awarenesses. And the last thing I want to talk about, Epstein files. Epstein files were released. And even as they're released, 3 million pages of the files were released. That's a shit ton of pages. That's a shit ton of information, right? 3 million pages. also still heavily redacted, meaning, if for those who are not familiar with that term, um, where there's information still blocked out, even if they have released the files. And also, 2.5 million pages still are not included in that, have still been withheld. So, have they been released? Yes. uh, yes, kind of, like 50%ish, maybe less than that, right? So again, things that I just feel the need in the spirit of today, in the spirit of January 30th, and the protests that have taken place today. I guess this just feels like my way of also highlighting things that could easily get lost in the shuffle, that should not be getting lost in the shuffle, that should be talked about still and pushed and encouraged to do something about. Okay. So stay safe and take care of yourselves, take care of your neighbors, and I hope you have a great night and a great weekend. Take care.